What's up, YouTube Destructible? Today we're showing off the Corrupted Army pet build for the Ritualist. Yeah, this build does a lot of crazy poison damage. It's really insane. I really hope you guys enjoy it. I had a lot of fun with this. I still find it to be really fun. I'm trying to go back and kill some more Nemesis boss on it. Yeah, I hope you enjoy it. A quick comment I want to make. I'm going to continue to make more and more build videos. So if you like it, please, leave a thumbs up. If anything, if there's any bit of criticism, please leave a comment. Let me know what I could do differently. I have been receiving a lot of comments lately giving me some advice on things to do. And I just want to say thank you to the community. You guys have been very friendly and just giving good, helpful advice. I appreciate it. It's really nice, and I just hope you enjoy the video. What's up, YouTube? Here we are. We're showing off the Corrupted Army build. This is Destructible, and we're going to get into this right away. So I'm going to show off all the armors, the items, the weapons, etc. Go through the skills, the devotion points I'd spent, and yeah, we're going to get into it. However, I do want to go over some quick cons with this build really quickly. Your skeletons die quite a bit whenever you're getting into some heavier fights, especially when you're fighting big bosses such as like a Nemesis or a super boss, whatever it is. It does they do go down, as well as your other pets. I did not do a lot of leech or other healing abilities that would keep them up. I just went real heavily into damage, so there are flaws with it. However, I was able to take down a few Nemesis with this build, with a little bit of trouble on one of them, and yeah, it's kind of hit or miss. For the most part, though, I'd say 90 to 95% of the time, this build performed very well for me, and I hope it does for you. So, first off, we got the Beacon of Lost Souls. I'm going to just jump through these, get into the skills, get into the devotion points. This is increasing your pet's damage and giving that offense abilities, as well as some resistance. That offense ability is giving them that crit, and then obviously giving them a huge damage buff. I'm running 2 Mythical Gauls Mantle. Said that wrong, I know it. If I said it right, awesome. Big thing to note about this is the bonus to all pets. It has a 15% chance to give 622, in this case, just this ring, 622 acid and 713 poison damage. Plus, it's increasing all damage dealt from your pets and converting physical damage into acid damage, which is a big part of this set, being that we're using Gauls, the Gauls Mantle complete sets. So moving on, we're going. We got the Mask of Lost Souls here. This big thing to note with this is it's reducing that skill recharge to the raised skeletons, because they are going to be going down a little bit, so you want to get them back up. It's increasing your pet's defensive abilities, so it's going to reduce their chances of being hit, crit, etc., and then also giving them a big damage buff. We've got the Shard of Lost Souls. This is increasing their offensive ability and speed. Speed's awesome. That's really good for your pets. The quicker they hit, it just means the more damage they're going to be getting out, and again, more crits. So it's real good to have. We've got the Diviner's Codex, or Diviner, I do not know. Yeah. So then this has 2 things to note. It's increasing Aether damage to Reap Spirit, and also reducing the skill cost, the skill energy cost of Reap Spirit. Reap Spirit is going to be like your only offensive ability that you're using, which is the only thing I do not like about this build is I spend a lot of time just running around. However, I never bound some of these new abilities over to my my mouse, which would help out a ton with getting around. But however, with the amount of damage your pets are dealing, I don't think it's a huge deal. That's just my opinion, though. So big crit damage, big bonus damage to your pets, and an elemental resistance. Then we've got Gauls Mantle. So Gauls Mantle is just doing a whole bunch. As you can see, the bonus to all pets somewhere right there in the middle if you're looking at the screen. acid poison damage again, which is a big part of this build. Also increasing their speed. That's awesome. It's giving you some defensive ability, increasing that damage, health, etc. Plus the final part of this build, which is increasing that summon limit to the Blight Fiend. And yeah, that's my favorite part of it. I love having 2 Blight Fiends up at once. It's really cool. Really, really cool to me because they're dealing so much damage. And even whenever they die, they just do an explosion and then like leave a giant puddle of acid. And yeah, so it's really cool because you can actually just resummon your pet while he's like, if he runs into the middle of a bunch of enemies, you just click it again to summon him, and the current one will just like explode, or whichever one of the two. I think it chooses the one with the lesser amount of health, or it just chooses the first one to get summoned. So obviously if the second one is there and you click it, the second one's going to stay active. The first one that had been summoned will detonate, and then it just does damage as well. So it's really, really cool. We got the Gauls Reach here. So this set has 2 things to it, which is Summon the Eldritch Talon, which summons an Eldritch Talon that gives off a thing to note. It does obviously some acid damage, but it also does Eldritch Instability, which is reducing enemies' attack speed, casting speed, and poison and acid resistance, which, as you can tell, that's why it's called the Corrupted Army, because they are dealing a whole bunch of acid damage. So getting that acid resistance down even further is going to really benefit them dealing that acid damage out. Also, the hands grant the Conjure Eldritch Web Reaver. So I had to bind this to the one move I have, and I can say that it procs enough for me. I'd say I'm getting this Eldritch Web Reaver up every 1 to 2 Reap Souls. What the problem with it is that Reap Souls has a bit of a cooldown period. It's 4.9 seconds. So if I was able to get it down, the Reap Souls down to obviously about 4 seconds, I feel like it'd be a lot more efficient. So yeah, anyway, thing to note real quick, Reap Souls can only summon 2 of them. It's also bound to a Celestial Power, which summons another pet. There's just a whole bunch of pets going out. I mean, it's literally an army of pets. But I'll get into that when I get to the skills. I just wanted to highlight that the Web Reaver, they do come up. There's a summon limit of 3 of them. I seem to have, when I notice, about 2 active at a time, and they hit really, really hard. And they're also benefiting from all that poison damage and acid damage. So really good to have. We've got the Mythical Fiendish Greaves here. Some bonus style pets, attack speed. It's also giving a 50% chance whenever I get hits to give a damage absorption shield of 10,000. That's going to help out a ton because I hate to say some negative things here, but if you get hit, it's kind of like, oh crap. However, I seem to have enough time to react. I've only come across one nemesis who got me in a pickle, and I just clapped. It just dropped me, but I honestly didn't even notice it was a nemesis at the time because I was keeping my map down. I was trying to hide some of my HUD. That way I could really just immerse into it, enjoy watching and seeing all the chaos that's being done by all the pets. And yeah, I came across a nemesis, and I died because it's honestly kind of crazy when you got all these pets. You just don't. It's overwhelming. So okay, we got Gauls Mark here. Yeah, we're running the 4-piece here. So this is just giving some more bonus to your Blight Fiend, as you can see above. It's also giving that bonus to that acid poison damage, converting some vitality damage to acid damage, and giving some chaos resistance off to the pets. Having all that bonus damage, that acid and poison damage go to your pets is going to be huge because like 4 of the pets, the different pet types, I think, use poison, but it might be 4 or 3. So just take that number. I might be wrong, so sorry. Okay, Mythical Voidmancer's Cord. This is really all I had. It increases damage to your pets. Gives some lightning and vitality resistance. That vitality resistance was good. And that's really about it. I don't think I'm really benefiting from the 10% chance to increase my lightning damage by 1,128%. So we can kind of just ignore that, act like it's not there. That'd be really, really cool. And then we've got Mog Drogon, whatever it is, I apologize. Ardor, and this is giving +1 to all skills, some health to you, and then it's giving a big buff out to all your pets, which is all damage, that's 16% crit damage, some Aether and Chaos resistance, which is great. And then it also gives you that granted by item skill, which is going to be increasing your speed. It's going to be increasing your pet's health by 15%, which is great. Their speed by 6%, and giving them that 15% increase to their armor, plus the completion bonus of 4% physique, 3 cunning, and 4 spirit, which is really good. It helps out. We've got the Mythical Wildshorn leg guards here. This is going to be increasing your pet's damage, attack speed, all really good stuff. It has some poison retaliation on it, and yeah, it again, I kind of just use some of these pieces. I feel like this is actually a really good piece. Plus, it's giving you some increase to the Call of the Grave and Emboldening Presence. So I felt it was a really good piece, and that's just what I took. So lastly, we've got Gauls Raiment, and this is just increasing acid damage by a little bit and giving some poison and acid resistance and resistance to life reduction by 23% to your pets. Obviously, you want to keep your pets alive because they're keeping you alive. And in this build, your pets do a ton of damage, so all that resistance should really help out. All right, going through the skills here real quick. I'm just going to go breeze through these now. We've got starting with Reap Spirit. So Reap Spirit is going to be your primary ability that you're using. There is a summon limit of 2 of them, which basically works out because I think they only stay active for 12 seconds. So you got to just keep chaining these. If you're in a period of extended combat, you want to constantly be Reap Spiriting because they summon an additional pet, and actually a chance to summon 2 additional pets. One is a guaranteed from your celestial power, and it does some decent damage. It's nothing crazy, but definitely keep this on cooldown whenever you're going into a fight. You just want to open up with Reap Spirits. We've got Raised Skeletons. I put 14 points into them. As I've mentioned, they die quickly. Keep that in mind. They don't have a ton of health, so they will go down, and you'll have to resummon them again. Took this all the way till I had a summon limit of 5. That I just felt 12 was fine. I didn't want to spend any more points into it. We've got Will of the Crypt here, which is going to be increasing their elemental and vitality damage. That elemental damage is actually going to benefit them a lot, considering they are going to have Meteor Shower, which is a celestial power that I put on them, which is going to be helping out with that fire damage on their end. So, yep. Summon Blight Fiend. This is the bread and butter of this build. The Blight Fiend does a ton of damage. Absolute ton of damage. As you can see, if you're just looking at it right now, their Blighted Claws and Virulent Death abilities hit really hard. To top it off with Tainted Eruption, which is a 15% chance on attack, which is more like 30 because there's 2 of them active, to shoot off that poison, basically explosion on everything around them for, anywhere from 28 to 30. It hits pretty much around 30,000 plus damage to everything around them, and it just has a 2.5 second skill recharge on that celestial power, so it could be proccing a lot. We've got Rotting Fumes here. Again, just more poison damage to your pets. It's helping out a lot. It's giving them additional threat to keep them off of you. Blight Burst. This is it's more acid damage, some vitality damage, and I don't even know what to say. They hit really, really hard. It's incredible. Master of Death. So If you wanted to, in my opinion, you could keep putting points into it. However, after you get to level 13, instead of getting increments of 5% damage to all of their damage, it will start going up by 1%. It does keep increasing their defensive ability, which could definitely help keep them alive longer, and their vitality resistance. But I didn't, and additionally, you will also be getting increments of 5% to their acid, vitality, poison, and converting some of their physical damage to vitality. So it's kind of hit or miss. I wanted to put more points into other things after I started seeing a bit of a diminishing return to that bonus to pet damage. I just stopped and said, okay, like, I don't need any more. And then we've got Call of the Grave. This is something you're going to be using on cooldown in combat. This is just buffing your pets by a whole ton, giving them increased poison damage, increased vitality damage. This is basically all the damage they're doing, increasing their crit damage and increasing their damage while giving them health regenerated per second. This is going to be a move you want to keep on cooldown. It makes your pets just hit really, really hard. Summon Briarthorn. A good thing to say about the Briarthorn is they don't seem to die. They're one of the last ones to die, and they hit pretty hard. There's not a whole lot to say. These pets just hit really hard. They weren't the highlight of it to me, being that the corruption, or excuse me, the acid benefit to the Blight Fiend just surpassed what was being benefited to the Briarthorn. However, the Briarthorns hit very, very hard as well, so I would definitely dump a lot of points into it. However, you could take some points out of Summon Briarthorn, bring this number down. I am looking at it right now, and I feel like 22 might be a little bit high. Mog Drogon's pack. I know I said that wrong, probably even with the relic down here, but yeah. Anyway. This benefits your pets, so I picked this up. It's giving some health regen, whatever. That wasn't the big reason why. I just want to come over here and pick up that extra 15% health, poison duration, bleeding duration reductions, and then also give some pierce resistance, retaliation damage, health regeneration, etc. All of that's being sent out to your pets. So really good buff to have going out to them. So yeah. Now we're going to get on over to the devotions. Alright, hopping into the devotion tree here real quick. We've got a Flame Torrent that I put on the pets. This is the lesser of all of them. I put this on Summon Eldritch Talon. All of my divine skills except for one are put to the pets. Obviously there's so many of them, so I put them onto the pets. This is probably the lesser of all of them, but this is where I put it. You can definitely change this if you feel like it. Second, I put Meteor Shower. This one's almost always active. You have 8 skeletons with a 30% chance on attack, and at a 2.9 second skill recharge with a 3-second duration, so it could be almost always active. Meteor Shower. And these meteors are hitting really, really hard, and they do a lot of burn damage over 2 seconds as well, so I would grab it, definitely. Tainted Eruption. This is causing a giant acid explosion to be added to your Blight Fiends, and your Blight Fiends just detonate all the time almost. I see this thing going off all the time. It does an insane amount of damage. This was my main interest going into the Divine Tree that I was aiming for, so I would suggest grabbing that. We've got Bismillah's Command. This is bound to the one offensive ability that I have. It has to be put on a offensive ability, so if you choose a build with more offensive abilities, you might be able to flex with this a little bit more. But it's whenever you cast your Reap Spirit, you have this Eldritch Hound being summoned as well, and they do a ton of acid damage, as you can see. Whole bunch of increased damage, crit damage, health. It hits really hard. It's benefiting from that acid damage. It's already doing, one of its main damaging attacks is acid. So yeah, I would say go with it. It's really, really good. Acid Spray. This is just a acid spray being dealt from the Briarthorn, and it does a ton of damage as well, as all the other divine abilities do in this tree. So those were my divine choices that I made. I led more towards acid damaging abilities, and this is the result of that. So I hope you guys enjoy that. I hope you enjoy this build. I am working on other projects. I have had a lot of advice come in from everyone on things to do differently, and I've heard it. However, this build was almost complete by the time it started, so if you didn't like this, I'm sorry. I will definitely keep working on making better and better and better builds. I just want to give good quality builds out there. So I'm still learning. This is all new for me for the most part. The game itself isn't, but creating perfect builds, that is a little bit new for me. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the corrupted army build that I made here. If you did, just keep enjoying the footage that's about to roll out.